Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
All right, this is Victor Odion for the African Diaspora News Channel.
I'm still struggling trying to make a living.
After 30 years in this business.
I've been in this business and making films now over 2 decades, and still, you know, with 2 Oscar nominations, many big blockbuster films, and yet I'm still struggling financially to make a living. I'm definitely underpaid.
How has Hollywood changed in terms of African representation in what you see since you started out to what's being produced now?
I was nominated for a Golden Globe, but they ignored me for the Oscars, talking about the fact that they thought that I had just came off the boat and off the streets. Even though I successfully did that, they just didn't feel like I was an actor for whom we should pay any respect to. So this conceptual idea of diversity, it still has a long way to go. Systemic racism don't change like that anytime soon.
Growing up, you're one of the first big Black actors I saw in big budget films, so it's mind-boggling to me.
But that's a sign for you that systemic racism is not something that you can deal with lightly. You have to cope with it and survive the best way you can.
And I am still trying to understand what's going on in that video. I mean, this guy is somebody that I celebrate personally. I love his movies. I love him. I like how he brings reality into movies. And hearing this over 30 years, and he still struggles to make a living. By the way, that's Djimon Hounsou, and he's a Hollywood star. You don't want to joke. You don't want to play with this guy. He's one of the best that you could ever find. Now, making that revelation is really mind-boggling, like Larry said there. I had to go check his net worth. I said, what is Djimon's net worth? What's Djimon's net worth? And this guy has a net worth of about $2 million. And it means that, and then I was wondering, okay, so why would he go and make such a relation? It then occurred to me that your net worth does not equate how much you have as liquid. You know, he could be that could be his net worth that people actually think he's earning or he has right now, or doesn't even have that amount of cash at hand presently. And he was talking about systemic racism, and this racism thing will always occur. And I'm wondering, you know, we in Africa, somehow we may not really understand racism. We may not really understand it as the FBS, as those people in America, right? As those blacks in the US, as those blacks in other Western countries. They understand racism even more than we do. And when we talk about racism, some persons don't understand the root of it. That's why we don't know how much pain this thing brings, how much pain it inflicts into the mind of people. That for somebody like this who has been nominated severally, why has he not won an award? Why? Why would they keep nominating him without giving him the prize? He's too good. You want to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, you want to talk about Blood Diamond, you want to talk about Gladiators. These are blockbuster movies that this guy has featured as an excellent actor. So what's the problem? So if it's not this racism that he says, systemic racism, then what else do we call it? And it has to stop. It has to stop. People are calling for, okay, him to come home. People like him should come home. Sometime Taraji was making such statement as well that this racism thing is actually doing so much harm to them as creatives in America. But nobody listened. You know, nobody really paid attention at the time. And here again is another actor making such statements. So I like I always say, I think they need to come back home, right? Create this thriving atmosphere. Let's make Africa's movie industry a big one. We have Nollywood, we have Gallywood, we have Kannywood from Kenya. We have these. Let's make them big. Let's create our own award system. Let's create our own award. If the Oscar is not nominating you, if the Globe Award is not nominating you, come on, bro. Let's come home. Let's create this thing. Let's do Africa. We can create these. That's what I feel that can happen. Even though it's going to take some time, it's not going to be easy. But then Hollywood still remains the biggest. Hollywood still remains the biggest. There's no doubt. But I feel like when we collaborate, we can even do much more. A lot of our black actors actually are the ones that put some of these movies produced by the white men on the map. I was watching 8886 directed by Tyler Perry some days ago, and I could feel the pains that the blacks went through in those days. I watched that movie and tears were rolling down my eyes. You need to see the film. You need to see the film, right? If you don't understand what racism is about, that's one movie that you should go check out, right? So it's quite sad that the industry has relegated black talents like this to the background. This is probably what lots of black actors all around the world are going through. And I am very happy. I am excited. I am so proud of Djimon for coming out to speak and to talk about it, because so many of them, actors, may not be able to come to speak about this thing. The systemic racism going on around the world, including Hollywood, is something that should be spoken about and should be addressed. It should be addressed. It's sad to see this, and to be honest, I'm not happy about it. And I hope that something will be done from this particular revelation or from this podcast. There's going to be sort of a reform, an investigation into this issue, and let it be a reform.